Level 1. The Childhood.
You are born into a number, not a name that matters, a number, a classification, a position in a system called songbun that was decided before you took your first breath. Your grandfather's loyalty, your father's work history, your mother's family background, all of it folded into a file that will determine every single thing about your life before you are old enough to read. You are lucky. Your file is clean. Your grandfather served the party faithfully. Your father works in a factory that produces military equipment. Your mother teaches children to love the supreme leader before they learn to love anything else. You are core class, trusted, watched, but trusted. You grow up in a small apartment with a portrait of the supreme leader on the wall. The portrait must always be clean, spotless. Dust on the supreme leader's face is not carelessness, it is a political crime. Every morning, your mother wipes it carefully with a soft cloth. You watch her do this every day of your childhood. You learn what devotion looks like before you learn what it means. At school, you study the supreme leader's teachings before you study mathematics. You learn that North Korea is the greatest nation on earth, that the American imperialists are preparing to destroy you at any moment, that the South Korean people live in poverty and misery and pray every night to be saved by the North. You learn this the way you learn to breathe, without question, without doubt, because doubt is not a thought you are allowed to have. You are a good student, the best in your class. You memorize everything faster than anyone else. Your teachers notice. They write it in their reports. Everything gets written in reports. You do not know yet that someone is already building a file on you. You do not know yet that your future has already been decided. You are 10 years old, and the world is exactly the size they have told you it is. You believe every word.
Level 2. The Selection.
You are 17. It happens on a Tuesday. A military official walks into your classroom. He moves slowly between the rows of desks. He is looking at something. You do not know what. He looks at faces the way a man looks at objects he is considering purchasing. He stops at your desk. He looks at you for a moment that feels much longer than it is. Then he writes something in his notebook and moves on. 3 days later, your family receives a letter. You have been selected for military service. Your mother reads the letter twice. She sets it on the table carefully. She goes to the kitchen. You hear the sound of water running for a long time. When she comes back, her face is arranged into an expression of pride and gratitude. That night, through the wall, you hear something else. You pack one small bag, one change of clothes, a family photograph. They take the photograph at the induction gate. Personal items are a distraction from revolutionary duty. You hand it over without being asked. You have already learned that compliance is survival. The bus that takes you away from home is cold and smells like diesel fuel. You watch your city disappear through the window. The streets you grew up on, the school, the apartment building with the portrait of the supreme leader visible through the second-floor window. You watch it all until you can't see it anymore. Then you face forward. You do not look back again.
Level 3. The Training. You wake at 4 a.m. The barracks are completely silent. Your uniform is folded on the chair beside your bunk, perfectly folded. It has to be. An improperly folded uniform is a sign of ideological disorder. Ideological disorder is the first step toward disloyalty. Disloyalty in North Korea has only one destination. You learn this on the first day. You run before sunrise, miles through cold air on empty roads. You run until your legs stop working, and then you keep running because stopping is not permitted. Political study begins before breakfast, 3 hours, every morning. The supreme leader's teachings, his father's teachings, his grandfather's teachings, the history of the revolution, the crimes of the American imperialists, the heroic sacrifices of the Korean people. You recite it all from memory. You eat corn porridge twice a day. Sometimes there is cabbage, sometimes there isn't. You lose weight quickly. You learn that hunger is not a problem here. It is simply a condition. Conditions are not complained about. Conditions are adapted to. Your drill sergeant is a woman. She is 32 years old and looks 50. She has the eyes of someone who stopped feeling things that are not useful a long time ago. She tells you on the first morning that weakness is a gift to your enemies, that every tear you cry is a bullet handed to the Americans, that your body belongs to the supreme leader now, and you will treat it accordingly. The first time you cry, she makes you stand in the snow for 2 hours. You never cry again. Not once. Not for 35 years. 10 months of this. 10 months of running and hunger and political study and drills with rifles older than your mother. 10 months of learning to be something other than a person. At the end of it, you are no longer the girl from the apartment with the portrait on the wall. You are a soldier. You did not notice the exact moment it happened. That is how it is supposed to work.
Level 4. The junior officer. You are 22. You have been promoted. Not because someone believed in you, because your scores were the highest in your unit, because you never complained, because you adapted faster than anyone else, because the system identifies useful people early and moves them upward before they have time to think about what moving upward actually means. You are now a junior lieutenant. You have 3 soldiers under your command. This is not very many. It is everything. For the first time in 5 years, you have a room to yourself, the size of a large closet, a cot, a desk, a window facing a concrete wall. On the first night, you sit in the silence and do not know what to do with it. Silence has been a luxury you forgot existed. You are responsible now, not just for yourself, for your soldiers, their behavior, their ideology, their results, their failures. If one of them makes a mistake, you answer for it. If one of them says something disloyal, you answer for it, unless you reported the disloyalty first. Reporting first is protection. Not reporting is complicity. You learn to watch your soldiers the way your superiors watch you. You learn to listen for the things people do not say. You attend officer training, textbooks from the 1960s, strategy designed for a war that ended before you were born. They teach you that the Americans are coming. They teach you that readiness is everything. They teach you to project absolute confidence in the system at all times, because confidence in the system is the system. You project confidence, but late at night, when the concrete walls are dark and the silence is complete, you think sometimes about a girl in your training unit who disappeared in the 3rd month. She was heard humming a melody that someone recognized as a South Korean song. Nobody knows where she heard it. Nobody asked. She was simply gone one morning, her bunk stripped, her name removed from the unit roster, as if she had never existed. You think about her for exactly as long as it takes to understand what thinking about her costs. Then you stop. You keep your head down. You keep moving forward. Level 5. The political officer. You are 26. You have a new role. You are now a political officer. You monitor the ideology of your entire unit. You attend every meeting. You observe every face. You file weekly reports on the attitude of every soldier under your watch, their enthusiasm during political study sessions, their expressions during broadcasts of the Supreme Leader's speeches, their body language during public ceremonies. A soldier who does not weep during a speech about the Supreme Leader's greatness is a soldier worth watching. You watch them. You also teach 3 hours every morning, standing at the front of the room delivering lessons about loyalty and sacrifice and revolutionary devotion. You have said these words so many times they come without thought. Your mouth forms them while your mind is somewhere else entirely. This is when you first notice something unexpected. Fear. Not your fear, theirs. When you walk into a room, soldiers adjust their posture. When you speak, people choose their words with visible care. When you file a report, someone is punished. When you decide to look the other way, someone breathes again. You have power over people's lives. Small power, but real. You did not know you wanted this until you felt it, and now that you feel it, you understand something that changes everything. Power is not given in North Korea, it is performed. The ones who rise are the ones who perform loyalty so convincingly and so consistently that the system decides they are safe to elevate. You have been performing for 9 years. You are very good at it. But you also understand what you have become, a mechanism, a working part of the surveillance system that holds 25 million people in place. Someone above you is filing reports on your attitude right now, your expressions, your enthusiasm, your reliability. You cry at every speech. You make sure everyone sees you cry. You keep watching. You keep performing. You survive.
Level 6. The Captain. You are 31 years old. You were a captain, 120 soldiers, one of the youngest female captains in your district. You did not celebrate. Celebration draws attention. Attention in this system is something you manage carefully and never invite unnecessarily. You have enemies now. This is new. Officers who wanted the promotion, male officers who believe a woman should not have it, senior officials who gave it to you because they are building a debt they intend to collect later. Everyone who hands you something in North Korea is keeping count. You manage your unit the way you were managed, hard, tight, without tolerance for failure, because failure travels upward and arrives at your door. Your equipment is decades old. Your fuel allocation is half of what training requires. Your ammunition is a quarter. You cannot run proper exercises without fuel and ammunition. Your superiors know this. They also know that reporting inadequate resources implies the system has failed. The system does not fail, only people fail. You report adequate training levels. You lie. Every officer lies. The lies travel up the chain of command and become official reality. Somewhere at the top of this country, someone is reading reports about a military that does not exist, a prepared and powerful and well-fed fighting force that exists only on paper. You are one of thousands of people writing that fiction every single day. You also have your first serious confrontation with a senior male officer. He outranks you. He wants you to understand this in a way that has nothing to do with insignia. You handle it the way you have learned to handle everything, without noise, without visible reaction. You file a report on a separate matter, a precise and well-documented report that communicates clearly that you understand how the system works and you are not afraid to use it. He does not approach you again. You understand now what survival in this army actually requires. Not strength, not loyalty, not skill. Information. Who has it? Who needs it? Who can be damaged by it? You start building a collection. Quietly, carefully, patiently.
Level 7. The Intelligence Officer. You are 35. You have been transferred. No explanation, no request for your preference. A new assignment arrives and you report to it. You are now attached to the State Security Department, the Boibu, the organization whose name alone causes physical reactions in people who hear it. Sweating, stillness, the particular careful blankness of someone who suddenly wants to appear to have nothing to hide. You did not ask for this posting. You were selected. Someone read your file, your record of correct reports, your discretion, your ability to do what was necessary without being asked to explain yourself afterward. They decided you were exactly the kind of person this organization needs. Your uniform is the same. Your rank is the same. Everything else is different. You have access now to files that officially do not exist. The private conversations of party members recorded in their own homes. The financial movements of officials who are taking more than they are permitted to take. The secret doubts of people who perform devotion every day and feel something else entirely at night. You know all of it. You sit across desks from soldiers and factory managers and low-level officials, and you ask questions in a very specific sequence, designed to find the inconsistencies, the small contradictions that appear when someone is hiding something. You have become very skilled at this. You can see the moment fear changes shape in someone's face, the instant they realize they have said something they cannot take back. You find that moment. You press on it. Every time. You have stopped thinking of the people across the desk as people. They are assessments, risk levels, files to be resolved. This is not something you decided to become. It is something the system made you through 15 years of patient instruction. At night, sometimes, you sit in your room and look at your hands. You do not look at them for long. You keep your eyes open. You keep moving.
Level 8. The Senior Commander. You are 40 years old. You have a rank that makes colonels adjust their posture when you enter a room. 23 years in this uniform. 23 years of correct expressions and correct words and correct silences. You have outlasted officers who were removed, officers who were executed. one who vanished so completely that his name was removed from every document and his face was cut out of every photograph in every office where it had hung. You attended his commendation ceremony 6 months before he disappeared. You clapped the correct amount, not too long, not too short. You have a car now, a driver, a good apartment with electricity that works most of the time, hot water, access to the special military store where there is real food and real medicine. You have everything the system promised. You also know things now that cannot be forgotten. You have read the classified documents, the real ones, not the official reports that travel up the chain of command painted with lies. The actual intelligence, the true state of this country, the famines that were managed and hidden while the state announced record harvests, the prison camps holding hundreds of thousands of people whose only crime was being related to someone who made a mistake. The distance between what 25 million people believe about their country and what their country actually is. You carry this knowledge every day. You cannot speak of it. You cannot act on it. You cannot write it in the mandatory diary you have kept for 23 years, filled with revolutionary devotion and gratitude to the supreme leader. You keep it inside you like a stone. You have been keeping it so long it has started to feel like part of your body. You keep your face perfectly still. You keep moving.
Level 9. The General. You are 47 years old. You are a general, the first female general in your district's history. The ceremony is televised. The Supreme Leader's representative pins the star to your shoulder in front of 500 officers. You practiced your expression for 3 days in front of a mirror. Gratitude, humility, revolutionary devotion. Not pride, never pride. Pride suggests personal ambition. Personal ambition in North Korea is the first quiet step toward treason. The 500 officers applaud. You count the seconds. You stop clapping exactly when the room stops, not before, not after. You have spent 30 years learning to calibrate exactly this. You have a villa now, outside the city, a garden, guards at the gate around the clock, a cook who prepares food you could not have imagined at 17, a driver, a secretary who is certainly also reporting on you to someone you will never meet. You treat everyone around you with careful consideration, not kindness, calculation. The people around you are witnesses. Witnesses become accusers. You have seen this happen to people who made the mistake of being careless with the humans in their immediate orbit. You sit now at tables where real decisions are made. You offer your opinion when asked. Your opinion is always exactly correct. It is correct because you have spent 30 years developing the ability to identify what the correct opinion is before your mouth opens. You can read what a room wants to hear the way other people read text. You have not said what you actually think since you were 17 years old, standing at a desk while a man looked at your face and wrote something in his notebook. You wonder sometimes if you still know what you actually think. You keep your star polished. You keep your face arranged. You keep surviving.
Level 10. The Truth. You are 52 years old, 35 years in this uniform. Your name appears in state media, your face in approved photographs distributed to approved publications, the approved version of your story. A revolutionary daughter, a model of female service to the supreme leader and the motherland, an example of what loyalty and devotion can achieve. You sit alone in your villa at night and you look at the photographs. You do not recognize the woman in them, not because she doesn't look like you, because she does, exactly like you. The uniform, the expression, the correctly arranged face. But you know what was happening behind that face in every single photograph. You know what thoughts were being carefully hidden behind each correct expression. You know what the woman in those photographs was actually thinking at the exact moment the camera recorded her thinking nothing at all. You think about a classroom, a Tuesday morning, a military official moving slowly between rows of desks, stopping at a specific desk, writing something in a notebook, walking on. You think about what that girl was thinking in that moment, what she saw when she looked at the man with the notebook, what she understood and what she did not understand, and what she would never be allowed to understand until it was far too late to matter. You have given this system everything, your body, your years, your voice, your real thoughts,
Your tears that you learned never to show. Your doubts that you learned to bury so deep they eventually stopped making noise. Your capacity for a life outside these walls. Your chance to find out who you would have been if a man with a notebook had stopped at a different desk on a Tuesday morning 35 years ago. You gave it all, and the system took it all. And it will take the next woman who rises through these ranks just as completely, and the one after her, and the one after that. Because the system does not need you, it needs what you represent. A face, a uniform, proof that the machine works, proof that loyalty is rewarded, proof that the supreme leader's Korea is a place where a woman can rise. What the photographs do not show is the price. What state media does not broadcast is the truth. You have power, real power, more than almost any woman in this country's history. And you are as trapped as the girl eating bark soup in the mountains who has never seen the inside of a city. You are just trapped in a larger cage. Somewhere, right now, a military official is walking into a classroom in a provincial city. He is moving between the rows. He is looking at faces. He stops at a desk. A 17-year-old girl looks up at him. She does not know yet what just happened to her life. She sees a man with a notebook. She does not see 35 years of correct silences and careful expressions and a stone growing inside her chest until it is too large to remove. She does not see you, but you see her. You were her once. The uniform is still pressed and waiting on the chair. It always will be. The cycle continues.